boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One, and welcome to another episode of Based on a True Story podcast. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend, family, as well as a follower. Let's get this channel lit in the YouTube algorithm. You heard me? Now, before I begin this story, I first like to say this. This is part two to the story I was just talking about a couple of hours ago. If you don't have a clue what's going on, I suggest you to hit to watch the live that I uploaded a couple of hours ago, and then come back at this one, and then the story will connect. Then you'll understand the madness, the method to the madness to this story. All right. So basically, this is part two, and this is the conclusion of me and my friends and this girl. All right. So yeah, do a brief summary. I'm talking about my friends that I have known since middle school, from the last year of middle school all the way to like my second or third year out of high school, and we just fell off the planet. We no longer keep in contact. I see them occasionally now. Where we left off at the story was a cliffhanger. It was what they call a cliffhanger. So I was telling you guys in part one that we had a situation. It was me, my two friends, and this girl that knows both of them, and it was my first time ever meeting her. So she's part of the Rat Pack. We call ourselves a little Rat Pack, a little posse. This is my first time, well, this is my second week meeting her. I don't know a lot about her. We got into an incident with a police officer. Everybody was compliant except her. She wanted to make something out of nothing. And I suggest something to the cop about her, like, hey, we're compliant, she's not. So if you want to hold her, I have no issues with. If you want to continue this conversation with her, cool, but, let us go because we're compliant. So I thought in the car, my friends, El Andre and I forgot Andre. No, it's Andre and I forgot his L. It's a longer. I just call them O and L for short. And anyway, seemed like to me there was no disagreement. Nobody said anything, so I thought everyone was on my side about it. Come to find out, they took a secret vote. A secret vote I had no idea about, and they didn't want to tell me the results. I had to wait the second week to find out that they no longer want to hang with a brother. All right. So that's where we left off. So second week, normally we would hang out, but for 2 weeks straight, we stopped hanging out. Okay. So I pretty much got from them two that they don't want to, hang out with me. They try to make up different stories on why they didn't, want to hang out with me. I guess they, felt like this was not important enough to collaborate to tell the same tale. They told two different tales, but I knew the old girl had something to do with it. Okay, cool, no big deal. So I said to myself, you know what? Let them do them. I'm cool with them. Let them do them. I'm gonna do me. Okay. Now, like I said in part one, you know how time passed and you get a little older, you get a little bit mature, and sometimes you be questioning things that you did when you was young. And I said to myself, if I had to redo that over again, that decision over again, I would make a different decision. All right. I would have done something or said something differently, instead of just letting things just be. So second week, they stopped contacting me. We didn't hook up. That's cool. All right. So they're doing their thing. I'm doing my thing. So it was bothering me. So instead of just letting it go, it just kept building up, And then I started talking, I always talk to my father. One thing about my father is he don't sugarcoat nothing. He tell it like it is, not like it was. Okay, so he's telling me. All right, so I'm telling him, I'm breaking everything down to him. Like I'm breaking it to you guys. I got done talking, so I said, so Pops, like what you think. Did I handle that correctly? Did I say something wrong? Did I offend her? Did I offend him? Offend my friends? And I probably just said something, and this stuck with me for the rest of my life. And this got me to understand women even more. My father told me, as long as there's a female involved in any type of situation, everybody's going to gravitate to how the female is feeling or what she feels about the situation. Basically, he basically said, you do know pussy starts wars. I'm saying, what? I said, yeah, pussy starts wars. A lot of wars started because of pussy. All right. So I'm going like, man, I don't follow Pops. So he was telling me about Napoleon and why Napoleon was trying to be a dictator. Basically, he was trying to get into some coochie and some uncharted territory, and that's what started. I don't think it single-handedly started Napoleon just taking it out on people, but it had something to do with it. So basically, in a nutshell, he was saying, look, as long as there's a woman involved, however she's feeling, most men are going to follow along, particularly because most men, that's why, and he also said this, that's why you can't, thanks for the thumbs up, that's why you can't have female friends. You can't have female friends because there's no such thing as a female friend. You may call her a female friend, you might label it a female friend, but basically it's just a female you haven't cracked yet. That's basically what it is, all right? He said if every man was able to crack every single female, there would be no such thing as a female friend, all right? It's just not in our nature to friend a female. It's always in our nature to crack one, to clap them cheeks. That's in our nature. We don't walk up to a female and say, oh, she'll be great as a best friend, or she'll be great as a, the first thing we think is we thinking about trying to smash her. We say something or we do something. Next thing you know, we're in the friend zone. So he said, I guarantee you, one of them, if not both of them, was trying to smash her and still have the mindset of still smashing her, but they somehow got stuck in the female zone. So after listening to my father, I'm going like, you know what? He may be right on this. He may be absolutely right on this. Let me see if hey, how you doing, Jackson? What you yapping about? Watch part 1, okay? Part 1 will fill you in on what I'm yapping about part 2, okay? So, I'm getting an understanding on how we as men are around females. Okay, now it can be intentional, it can be intentional, but a lot of guys are 99.9% guys think this way. This is their behavior. Okay, so listen to my father. I'm thinking about it. So, but it's still bothering me because it's not bothering me at the fact that I can no longer, my friends don't want to have no conversation with me or deal with me. It's just the fact that I don't know why we're no longer talking. Now, I have an idea, but I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. So I talked to L. I hit up L. I'm like, L, man, I'm telling him the situation. I'm like, man, we haven't, kicked it in a while. I understand the situation with the with the police officer, and maybe the girl got sensitive about what I said to the police officer about her. Was that the reason why we no longer kicking it? Al, he's really just talking in circles. He's really not addressing what I'm saying. I'm not really getting it from L. So I say, you know what? I'm gonna go to O, because out of the two, I feel like Andre, he's gonna tell me. He's gonna just go ahead and just spit it out, because that's the difference between L and O. L kind of don't want to offend nobody. He just goes with the flow. He just don't want to offend nobody. Okay, with O, he's the complete opposite, because he rather just tell you, okay, hey, this is why. And then if you get upset with him, cool. If you're happy with it, cool. But, he'd rather just do it that way. Okay, so I walk up, so I called him at work. And, I said, hey, man, when you take your lunch? And he was telling me, I take my lunch in a couple of hours. I said, well, man, I need to really talk to you. I got something important to talk about. Okay. He said, I tell you what, why don't I just take my lunch now? We can go out, step outside, we can talk. So he asked his boss, could he take his lunch a little early? His boss said, sure. So takes his lunch, we go outside. And then I'm talking to him like, hey, man, we ain't been hanging around each other in a couple of weeks. And I know it, I know it don't really have anything to do except that last time we hung out was when we had that incident with the police officer, and everybody was complying with the officer except old girl. That's happened to be y'all friends. So I'm going like, is that the reason why y'all not hanging out with me? Because she don't want to hang out with me. I said, bear in mind, I don't know nothing about this girl. Y'all threw this girl on me. I don't know anything about her. I don't have no history about her. I don't know how she moves. I don't know how she operates. I don't even know what she means to either one of y'all. Okay? I mean, are you trying to be more than just a friend to her? Is your brother trying to be more than a friend to her? Okay? So I'm just throwing a bunch of questions. So, how you see, this is, to me, if you throw a bunch of questions to a person, eventually you're gonna tire them out, and they're just gonna have no choice but to tell you. All right. So as I keep throwing questions at him, he finally says it. He said, "Look, man, I'm gonna be 1,000% real with you. All right. First of all, he was telling me the origin between the girl and himself. He said, look, she started hanging around. She started hanging around because she works with his brother. So when she started working with his brother had a fondness to her. He wanted to be in a relationship with her. He said his brother started bringing her around, and then she started talking. And then when he got the courage to tell her, she wasn't feeling him that way. So then he said, you know what? If she's not feeling him that way, I'm going to take my chance with him. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Like I told you in part one, she was light-skinned. I think she was mixed with Chinese and black. And she looked fine. I ain't got no issue. I wouldn't mind smashing it either, okay? But, like I said, I didn't know too much about her, So he said, yeah, I tried to talk to her too. And, she wasn't feeling me like that way either. So we just decided to just let her just hang with us because she said she just liked being around us because she didn't really have no friends. Now, come to find out that this girl works with them. She used to work at another place. She had issues with her co-workers at another place. She's working with them. They're starting to notice that she has issues with some co-workers, even at the place that she's at with my two friends. Okay. And then I'm putting two and two. Okay, now it kind of makes sense. Man, females, I'm gonna be honest with you. Females, they say men are territorial. Like with men, kind of want to, own their, don't want nobody in their space, don't want nobody invading their space, even at work or at home or whatever. But females are just as worse. Okay, females are just as worse. So I'm thinking, hey, look, maybe she's having issues with people because maybe people are, getting in her space and, she has a huge issue with it. She don't like to be bothered. She likes to be alone, so maybe it's that. All right. So I said, I tell you what, man, why don't we go out this week and let me talk to her? Let me, feel where she's coming from. Let me apologize. If I had to apologize, I will apologize. Because, see, at the end of the day, I could be the bigger person. Okay? I could be definitely the bigger person. If she had an issue with what I said with the officer, what I said to the officer about her, and she has an issue with it, then I could apologize to her. I can say that's my bad. That's on me. Okay? Don't take it out on them. Take it out on me. All right. So I can always be the bigger person. If I have to apologize, particularly if I feel like I'm not wrong, I'll still apologize if I offend you. If you say that was very offensive, then I'm going to apologize. I'm going to make things right regardless, okay? So he thought about it. He said, let me tell you, he said, let me call you a couple of days from now, see if everything's okay, because you want to ask her as well as his brother. I said, cool. So I left. A couple of days went by, and I'm thinking, okay, the two brothers ain't gonna have no issue with me, trying to explain myself. I just think the biggest thing I'm gonna have to overcome is her. If she don't want me around, then it's a wrap. It's a rizap. Okay, so like clockwork, L calls me. He said, hey, you know what? We're about to go see a movie, but before we go to the movie, we're gonna be at our apartment, and maybe we could drink, and then maybe you could get, everybody gets chilled. Maybe we could just hash out some things that happened that night, and then come to some resolution. And if someone has to apologize, then I think that'll be the moment for that person to apologize. Translation: I'm gonna have to apologize. I get it. Another thing about women are not gonna ever feel like they're right. They're gonna feel the way they want to feel. Their feelings are never gonna tell them or instruct them that they was wrong in this situation, because they're gonna use their emotions to dictate that situation. So I already know I'm gonna be the guy that's gonna have to apologize. I know that going in. So I said, cool. Okay, so a couple days go by. We go, L come pick me up from my place. We drive to L and O's spot, their apartment complex. Like clockwork, there's drinks there. She's already there, and she just got this look on her face. She just got this real like I just walked in dog shit all day. She's, how you walk, how girls, how women have that little stank face, like something stinks in the house. Okay, she's looking at me like I stink. Okay, whatever. All right. So I felt like that. I don't think that would have been a good time to talk to her. Okay. If y'all commented, I'm gonna have to read y'all comments a little later, because I want to, tell the story first. Okay. And I appreciate the likes, and I appreciate the you guys hitting the subscription button. Okay. So I felt like, let's chill things out, bring the temperature down. Maybe she gets a drink in her, it'll relax her, and then I can just come talk to her. So, everybody had a little drink. It wasn't nothing major. We ain't had no hardcore alcohol. It was like beer and wine coolers. It's no big deal. No big dealio. I'm not a beer person. I can drink a couple of wine coolers, but I'm no huge big beer person. Okay, cool. So after after about 30, 40 minutes, everybody's relaxed. Everybody, joking a little bit. Now she done unloosed, and she done let her guards down. Now she's chatting. She's kind of, loose. I said, okay, this is a good time to talk to her. So I said, hey, I understand. I'm gonna be honest with you. A couple of weeks ago, we had that incident with the officer. You know what? I take full responsibility for that. I believe in accountability. It's all on me. If I said anything or did anything that offended you, I'm here to apologize. So I say I apologize for what I said to the officer about you. I apologize if you was offended. And I just apologize. I just fell on the sword. Okay, I took that. Okay, L&O, they're feeling real comfortable. Okay, they like, okay, Chris is taking one for the team. You dig what I'm saying? I'm thinking she's gonna say, that's no harm, no foul. That was a couple of weeks ago. Let's just move on. Let's just turn the page. Did she say that? No. All right. She starts going in on me. She said, well, in the first place, that wasn't even your place to even tell that officer that if y'all complying and I'm not complying, that means he should have a conversation with me. Okay. I mean, what type of man are you to just gonna just leave me on you just gonna just leave me there where the officers berating me and I mean, what type of, she's using that what type of man is you type card on me. Okay. I ain't saying nothing. Deep inside, I'm getting kind of pissed off. I really am getting kind of pissed off. But I'm saying to myself, I got to swallow one for the team. Pause, because, LNO, they're my friends. I like them. Okay. And if they like this girl and they feel like this girl is part of the team, then I'm gonna take this one for the team. All right. So instead of going back and forth with her, I just agreed with her. I said, you know what, you are absolutely right. I should have handled it a lot better. If I had to do it all over again, I would definitely do things differently. Okay. So it went back to her side. So now she knows that, hey, I'm falling on this. This is it's my bad. I screwed up. I effed up. L didn't F up. O didn't F up. I effed up. Okay. So I'm taking this with stride. Okay. Pause. So she okay, after that, she said, you know what? If Eleanor says that they're over it, then I'm over it too. Okay. So I put my fist in the air, like a pound, like I knew I put my fist in the air, and she didn't respond. So I don't know if she thought that I was trying to throw a fist up or whatever. So then I threw my hand out for a handshake, and then I'm telling her that I'm truly sorry if, like, once again, if you was offended, I apologize. She just left me hanging. So I'm thinking to myself, you be thinking to yourself like, okay, is she trying to have her little moment? Is she just trying to just leave me hanging? Is she trying to do a little micro move? Trying to, whatever. But you know what? I said to myself, forget it. If she's doing all that, I can't let that bother me, because my friendship with my friends are way more important than her making these little moves and stuff. So I put my hand down. All right. So, like I said, we drunk some wine coolers. All right. Then we watched the movie. We decided we wasn't gonna go to the movie theater. We was gonna watch a movie. All right. So we were watching the movie. I forgot what movie we were watching. All right. Everybody, I'm looking around. Everybody watching the movie. I'm watching the movie. And she would, like, it's kind of funny to me, like some parts of the movie, she'll go sit over there with Elle. They'll chop it up, have a little conversation, and then, like, in other parts of the movie, she'll go to O. She'll say a couple of things to him. They have a little conversation, but keep in mind, I don't know what she's saying to either one of them. Okay. So I'm just sitting there. I'm saying, you know what? I'm doing this for my friendship with Eleanor, because my friendship to them is way more important than this little play that she's using. Okay. So everything went well. That whole night, everything went well. She got whatever she wanted off her chest. She said what she had to say. Eleanor, it seems like seemed like we're all getting along, having no issues. All right. So, like I said, like I told y'all in part one, like, we would hang out on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay, so Friday comes rolling around. So, I'm texting Elle like, hey, what's the plans for tonight? Then he texts me back. He says, I don't know. Let me call my brother. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm up, I'm at work, after 2 or 3 hours, I don't hear nothing from nobody. So I went on call his brother myself on lunch. And he said, oh, yeah, my bad. I was going to call you back, But the reason why it took so long because he had to call old girl, see what she wanted to do. Now this is a wrinkle to me, cause see normally, you know, to me it's either L or O. They have something planned, and then they'll tell me, they either call me or text me. You know, this is the first time, you know, they allow someone else outside of them to decide where they wanted to go. So she said, yeah, you know, she's talking about one of her friends is having a birthday party or something, and she said she was going to get back to me later. I mean, get back to us later. So I think it was going to be for next week, or I don't know. Okay, I don't remember. So we hung out that Friday, and you know she's in the car talking about this birthday party. You know, one of her best friends that she went. She her best friend from high school or college. I was in and out of the conversation. I really wasn't paying no attention, and I'm sitting in the back seat with Ale. O is driving, and she's in the front passenger seat, and she's, saying, hey, like this girl she knew from high school, college. I don't know. Like I said, I was in and out of the conversation. Okay, so I said, so when is the birthday party? She said, oh, it's next week. But she said, you probably ain't gonna be able to make it. I'm like, how you know I'm not gonna be able to make it? You know, that's what I'm thinking to myself, because I remember if you say something to her, she's gonna take it as offensive, and I don't want to go back. I don't want to do that crap all over again. So I didn't say nothing. So she said, let me let me talk to her, see how many people are going to be at this party, and then I can give y'all a clear picture on not only when the party's going to go down, but where and what we have to bring and things of that nature. Okay, so like I said, we hung out Thursday, we hung out Friday. All right, both days perfect, no problems, no problemos. Okay, Saturday comes, L calls me, tell me, hey, we're gonna skip Saturday because of the birthday party. So I asked him. I said, so where's the birthday party? Where it's what time and what where and this, that, and the third. I'm asking for information. He said, oh well, she just got through calling me, telling me that she only got 2 invitations, and she already said that she promised me and my brother into the party. Now, I don't know if there were actual invitations, but it sounded kind of fishy to me. But I didn't want to push it. Okay, I just said, oh, okay, well, we'll just miss a day, and that's all good. We'll hook up some other day. All right, next week come, they go to the party, and I didn't hear nothing from them that whole week. Nothing. I call L, no response. I call O, no response. I text him, no response. Okay, I didn't want to bother his father, their father, with it. Okay, because like I said, everything's cool. I'm not trying to make no wrinkles or any of that shit. So for that week, we didn't go kick it. They went to a party. Okay, so another week goes by. I see Ellen passing. I'm going to the grocery store. I'm getting my groceries and shit. And I told him, well, how was the party? Was it, and he's, telling me this, that, and the third about the party. The party was lit. He said, oh, man, you should have been there. I said, yeah, it would have been great if, they had another invitation. I would have met y'all at the party. So I said, so what we gonna do this week? I don't know. We have to add. They said that they're waiting on old girls. So now I'm seeing a change in this. Okay, at first, either L, O, or myself, it'd be mainly them two. We decide what we're gonna do for the week. Now all of a sudden, they're adding another wrinkle to it with old girl. Hey, old girl, we have to wait and see what she wants to do. So now, we have to wait and see what she wants to do. So I'm saying to myself, look, I need to figure this thing out. Okay, not only about the party thing, but everything else. So I said, so is old girl working this week? And he told me well, next week. And then he said, yeah, she'll be working with me on Wednesday. I said, cool. I said, I'm gonna come up there, chop it up with you and chop it up with her. He said, cool. So, I said, just call me to see if it's okay to come up there to y'all workplace and chop it up with both of you. So a day goes by, he called me back saying, yeah, she said she's not interested. She said she don't really know me like that. Plus, she don't want people at the workplace knowing her business. I can respect that. So I said, is it okay for me to call her? Okay. And he said, I don't see no issue with you calling her, here's her number. So I get the number from him. And then a couple hours later, I go ahead and I call her. She picks up. Okay. And I, told her, I said, hey, this is Chris, say, yeah, I know who you are, and I'm going like, so yeah, how, I'm trying to, soften a lot of blows because I'm going to have a lot of questions for this helper. So I asked her about the party. How was the party? Women, they go into details. Oh, we done did this, we did that, we were dancing. She's going on and on and on about the party. I'm going like, yeah, man, sorry that I missed the party because you didn't have enough invitations. All right. She said, yeah, it was invitation only. I really wanted you to go and this, that, and the third, whatever. Okay. So I told her, I said, I'm not trying to start nothing. I'm not, I'm not trying to start nothing. I'm not trying to, but I just trying to get an understanding with you. And she said, go ahead. I'm going like, like once again, I'm not trying to start nothing, but I'm trying to, it's hard for me to have, get an understanding about you because it seems like to me you're so distant about everything. You're distant about, me, trying to talk to you, this, that, and the third. And then sometimes when I want to talk to you, it just seems like it's never the right time. So basically, she goes into this long, detailed conversation saying, well, I don't really know you that much. When, I know L&O a lot more than you. And then she said something that was very interesting. She said, matter of fact, when I was starting to get to know them, they never mentioned you. And I thought it was kind of weird, and I'm thinking to myself, like, how long do they, how long have y'all been friends? Because it seemed like to me, they just threw you on to me. So basically what she's saying is when she's with them, they don't never tell her about me. And when she met me for the first time, she felt like, they're throwing me onto her. And I'm going like, well, I've been hanging around them a lot more. And, and then she said, well, and then she kept going, well, I've known them a lot longer too. And, I'm not trying to make it into no competition. I'm like, that's possibly true, But nevertheless, I want to have like, I want us to, you know, establish some type of relationship so we can all get along. And she said, you don't think we're not getting along? I said, yeah, we're getting along, but it just seems like sometimes it's just some days it just makes it weird. Sometimes it comes off weird and sometimes it comes off difficult. And like I said, I apologize for what I said about the officer thing. But yeah, Eleanor and them, they really important to me as far as friends go. And I told her, I've known them since middle school. And told her the different stories like I'm telling you guys right now. So she said, well, this is very important to you. I tell you what. Um, why don't we, start all over? We get to know each other, and for that day, I got to know her a lot more. She got to know me a lot more. I figured out she started telling me the backstory on how she met L&O, and she kept telling me stories about her past, and she used to have a boyfriend. Her boyfriend betrayed her. She's just telling me like a lot of stuff. Okay. And I appreciate what she was telling me because now I know her a lot more better. I fully understand why she behaves the way she behaves. She's really overprotective, okay, because of all the stuff that she's been going through. Okay. And that's why she was mad about the police situation, because she has been left high and dry in other relationships and other friendships. So now I get an understanding about her. Okay. So I said, okay, I feel you on that. I get you on that. Okay. So then I asked her, I said, so what's it just seemed like to me from a distance, and I said, I don't know this to be factual, but from a distance, it seemed like, it started off with Elle may had a thing for you, and it did not work out with Elle and yourself. And now Old thinks, Old thinks that he can have a thing with you as well. And it seems like, you're not feeling that as well. I said, you don't get, you never gotten once why, these guys are probably hitting on you, like they're really interested in you and probably wants to be in a serious relationship other than a friendship. And she says, I get all that. But the thing of it is, I don't have any I don't look at L&O as dating. I look at them as friends. They're real friends to me. Okay. And that kind of I said, so what do your boyfriend say about all this? She said, I don't have a boyfriend. I never had a boyfriend. And she said that, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm gay. I'm like, what the fuck? So now it made sense to me. When she said that, that made it's like the whole world stopped. And now I get why, things happen the way they happen, particularly with me and her. Okay. So now everything is making sense. The picture is much clearer now. Okay. So she views L&O and myself as actual friends, and she don't look at us as potential partners, okay? Because she's gay and she likes women as well. And it explains so much because, sometimes we'll be in the mall, like we'll see an attractive female walking by us, and we'll make little comments, and and she would join in the conversation as well, because how when you're with a female and you bring your boys with you and your boys point some girl out, and we're talking about her sexually, and your female friend or your girlfriend or your wife is gonna look at it like, y'all being a little immature, this, that, and the third. She'll take offense to it or just shake her head. Okay. But whenever we did it around her, she had no issue with it. And matter of fact, she would do some judging about it. Oh man, she's got a little small waist, she's thick, she would say things, okay? And at first I'm thinking she's saying all this stuff because she wants to be down with the guys. Okay. It never occurred to me that she was gay. Like I know plenty of gay women, but none of them like her. So now it's making a lot of sense to me. So ever since she told me that, our whole dynamic has simply changed. I got a full understanding about her and her situation, you know, and how she feels about guys in general. And we never had a problem since then. As a matter of fact, we always, will have debates. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes she'll agree with me. A lot of times she'll disagree with me. But at the same time, we didn't take it personal. And we didn't take it too far where I didn't want to talk to her and she didn't want to talk to me. Okay. But I respected her decision, like, and I think that's the real reason why she hung with L.O. and myself. We didn't down her because she was gay. She was just, we looked at her as one of our friends. We didn't look at her any other way. We didn't look at her in any other light. And that only strengthened our relationship even more. Okay, I appreciated her a lot more. Be honest with you, she was the one. Like, if you ever had girl problems, or if you want to, if you needed to talk to a female about women in general, I would get my, you didn't want to be embarrassed by your mom or your sister or whoever. I would go to her. So our relationship got super, super better. I had no issues with her moving forward. L&O never had an issue with her moving forward. But like I said, I did not know she was that way until, we took time and we started communicating with one another. Okay? So, yeah, that's the end of that story. Part 2 is in the books. All right. First and foremost, I'd like to appreciate everyone that hit the like button on part 1, hit the like button on part 2. I'd like to thank and appreciate everyone that hit the subscription button. Like I said, comment in the comment section. Tell me things you guys want me to talk about, and I'll see what I can do. And let me read y'all comments before we end this live. Okay, so Jackson says hi. I done said that. Super Bop Loser, what are you yapping about? Go see part 1. I gave him that information. Andrea Moore says hi again. Like I said, it's kind of hard to tell a story and read your comments at the same time. Sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't do it. But yeah, that one is in the books. Now tomorrow morning, I'm going to do a live about worst Thanksgiving Day dinners. So I'm going to do that one. I got a couple of funny stories about that one. And yeah. Well, I tell you what, the worst Thanksgiving parties I have ever attended. Definitely we're going to do that. Okay. That'll be for your Thanksgiving Day pleasure. Wednesday, I'm not doing any lives. I probably will do one Thursday and Friday, and that'll be it. But yeah, I'd like to thank everyone that came by. Really do appreciate that. Like, thank everyone who said have subscribed. I appreciate that as well. It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. Another chapter in the books is done, my friend. Based on a True Story podcast. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gone. Deuces, guys. Deuces.